everything. All right, let me just double check. Stream info.
Cool. And I'm going live on Facebook. Should be live in just a moment. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitch.
Oop, wrong account. Go content. Live. Edit title and description. Take this. Yeah, this will be annoying, but not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah,
Setup.
could be worse.
So that's done. That's done. Average bit rate is. Uh-oh. All right, I think we're gonna be okay. We gonna be all right.
That's for dang sure.
Be all right. All right, I'll make sure the chat's going here. Okay, I think.
Are we ready?
I think we're good. Well, now it's 6:01, so we're a minute. We're a minute over.
We're a minute over, but we killed it.
But we killed it. We killed it. It's good. It's good.
Are officially live on 3 platforms, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome.
Yay.
My gosh, who knew this day would ever get here?
Right. We knew it was coming, but who knew so soon? Cool. You ready to jump in?
Yeah, go ahead. Start us off.
Is our audience ready? Feel free to comment, letting us know that you're here, that you're live. We'd love to hear from you guys. We have Facebook, we have Twitch and YouTube, and we would love to hear from you guys. So feel free to drop a hey in the chat. We are going to be jumping into today's topic on radiance and reality coaching. We're life coaches who go live. And our topic today is if you need someone to validate your choice, is it really your choice? A nice little hot take for you guys, a little nail bitey. I'm going to say that one more time just to let that like sink in for you guys. So if you need someone to validate your choice, is it really your choice? So before we jump into more on this topic, let's take a quick moment for us hosts to introduce ourselves. Hi, my name is Kayla Winters. I am the proud owner of the Lunar Radiance Coaching, where I'm a life coach, yoga instructor, and sound healer. And I support women on their journey of self-empowerment and fighting burnout and perfectionism through self-discovery and self-love. And I am so grateful to have my amazing co-host here today. Juhong, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Juhong Lang. I am the owner of Reality Switch Coaching, and I work with couples to build stronger communication through emotional intelligence with just all the wonderful tools that I have that are based in neurolinguistic programming, and then also a little bit of emotional focused therapy as well. So yeah,
beautiful.
That's it.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for everyone who's tuning in. For those who are responding in the chat, we just love to hear from you guys. If you're listening to the replay or curious where you can listen to the replay, you guys can listen to that on YouTube and Twitch. And now we actually have a Spotify account, which is super awesome. We have transformed this into a podcast for you guys. So please go follow us. It's Radiance and Reality Coaching on Spotify. Listen to the podcast. I think you can comment now on Spotify, which is pretty cool. So again, we want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you guys think about what we're talking about. And that's a call too. Throughout any point within our lives, like we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your feedback, where these things are landing, because it really just makes these lives so much more fun. So come be a part of the live action.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Juhong, when you heard this topic of if you need someone to validate your choice, is it really your choice? Is that something that you feel like you've struggled with as a person? Like, are you someone who has sought out validation or feels like you need validation to make a choice?
I I yeah, it's funny. I actually feel like I've been on both ends of it. Um and both ends in a very terrible toxic way, I would say. On one hand, I feel like there have definitely been times where especially like in a relationship where I didn't necessarily think that I needed validation or permission or anything,
Mhm. Yeah.
and made terrible decisions because of that. Just kind of like going with it. And then on the other side of it, I've also, it's funny actually, I would say outside of my relationship where I have overly sought validation for my choices. Like I may feel like, okay, I think this is the right decision. It feels right. It sounds right.
Mm.
I've done all the research, whatever. And then I'm like, hey, can you look at this real quick and just like, can you tell me like, is this really good? And then when the person tells me, no, yeah, it's good. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? I don't know. I just don't, um, so I have, I've definitely been on both sides of this topic.
Yeah. I love I love that you said, like, both sides, because for me, when I think of both sides, I think of, like, the side where you, like, don't need validation from others in the sense that, like I don't know, I guess I didn't see that as, like, a negative thing, but
Oh,
as you said that, I was like,
and now
"Oh."
now
I was
I've
like,
let it in, yeah.
"That definitely could totally go a whole 'nother
Y
direction," right?
you're welcome,
Of,
you're
like,
welcome, yeah.
when it's appropriate or, when the ego is making those choices, right? And we feel like we don't need other yeah, that's super valid. So, I think that that's really, that was great. Thanks for sharing that. That was really good.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
How have you
yeah.
what is your feelings with this or your experience with it?
Well, if you guys have listened to this before, you know that I am a people pleaser and burnout queen. And so I love to go to other people for validation and for um getting their insight and to basically do anything to avoid making a decision from my own choices, which is not great. Definitely not helpful and has led to so many issues for myself in regards to my confidence, in regards to my relationships, and just like my ability to like move forward literally in any direction because if you can't make a choice and you just freeze, you're stuck. So that's not very helpful. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I think that it is something that I have previously like released my power on and did it so passively. Like it was unaware of how I was just letting go and
Hmm.
just existing because that felt more comfortable. That discomfort felt more comfortable than leaning into the discomfort of making a final decision. So, yeah, which
Well, yeah, I mean,
we can
because when you
relate.
yeah, I mean, when you're the one who makes the decision, then that means if it fails, it's all on you,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
And right.
Right, yes. That's definitely how it feels, yeah.
It definitely feels that way. But also, like, I think something that one thing I loved about like the perfection trap is like it just like highlighted so beautifully how like it's okay to make a decision. It's okay to like not have the perfect answer and to not have it all figured out and to still make a decision, which I really loved from that. And I think is going to be a really beautiful thread throughout this conversation today of like just being able to find the good enough and being able to move forward with you and your decision being good enough. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
Cool.
love it. I love it.
You
Alright.
wanna pick our first talking point?
Here we go. Let's
Kidding.
see.
The evil
Also
laugh.
for everyone, in the chat or anyone listening, I want to invite you all to reflect on what your feelings about this idea of needing someone to validate your choice or not needing, maybe
Mhm,
going that on that other side of it where you're just like, I make all the decisions, I just do what I want.
mhm.
Who cares what anybody else thinks? Like to complete abandon. Just I invite you all to also kind of reflect on that. And if you would like to share and you're here live with us, feel free to tops in the chat. Kind of just your thoughts. Or if you agree with everything we're saying, you can just drop like a one in the chat or however you want to do that.
Or just be,
Um,
you guys are amazing. Like, this is the best live stream ever.
yes, all of them are the best
All of
live
the
streams
things.
ever. But we would never tell any other live stream that ever.
Right.
Um, all right, let's see here. So we'll start with you know what? Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And Kayla's gonna walk us through how childhood conditioning causes us to ask for permission. Take it
Yeah.
away, Kayla. Share
Oh,
us your thoughts.
this one runs deep and has me angry, to be honest. Yeah, I really, when I think back and thinking about things that like come up really instantly in my memory, I think of the classroom, really. And I want to share a story that is like a little vulnerable for me, but I feel like it relates in regards to like making your own decisions. So one time I used to like historically never go to the bathroom at school. It was just like something that I like trained my body. It made me uncomfortable, whatever. And then one day it was one of those days where I was like, I don't have a choice. I need to go. And I had a substitute teacher that day and I was like, can I please go to the bathroom? I was like, I need to go. She was like, there's 3 people ahead of you. You're going to have to wait. And it was like, Miss, you don't understand. I need to go to the bathroom. But I'm also like in second grade or whatever, right? So it's like those power dynamics that like where you don't really have like choice. And as someone who was a perfectionist and wanted to obey and be obedient, I was like, okay, I just gotta I just gotta figure it out, right? Like, my second grade self. And I went up again and she's like, no, you have to wait. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, no, no, no. So you go back down, you're like panicking, you're freaking out. I get to the bathroom and I make it, but I still basically end up like peeing my pants halfway. Right. And I remember like my
Oh,
pants were wet and I was so embarrassed. And like,
oof.
thank goodness I had like one of my really good friends at the time. Her name's Madison. Hey, I see we got some comments in the chat.
Just
Um, as I'm just
just
like
in
spilling
time for
out my
your
heart
yeah,
just
just
in
in time for
time.
your story.
Thanks for coming in.
Great timing.
um, and
Continue with
she
your
like
story.
right, right. And she she lent me her jacket to like wrap around my waist because like, I was at school, like I didn't have a change of clothes. Like at that time you don't really have accidents. And that snowballed into this like reputation that I created and this like anxiety and fear around going to the bathroom for myself. Where anytime I went anywhere, I always made sure that I went to the bathroom before. And then it became this whole reputation that everyone was like, oh, anyone got to go to the bathroom? We know Kayla's got to go to the bathroom because she's
Oof.
always got to go to the bathroom.
No way.
That's
Do they
Kayla.
really?
No, literally. Like, you
Like,
can
wait,
talk
the
to anyone from
teachers
my
too?
childhood. This is 100% a reputation that I carried with myself through, I would say, up into maybe junior year of high school, where I finally was like able to get over that fear a little bit and like those tendencies. Like I really worked on it because it was something that people were like shaming me all the time for having to go to the bathroom, not knowing
Wow.
what the true reason why. Because God forbid you ask why someone's doing something repetitively and like compulsively almost, it's not like they have like a deep rooted reason or something. Um,
But, like, the teachers were doing that to you too?
Not teachers
Oh, okay.
necessarily, but just, like,
Well yeah.
everyone in my life. Literally
Wow.
all adults, like, that weren't teachers, just, like, my parents, people
Yeah.
that were, like, my Girl Scout leaders, like, close family
Wow.
friends, like, anyone that was, like, around me regular would, like, give me this hard time about having to
Mm,
go to the bathroom, like to the point where like I remember we like went on a boat or something and there was no bathroom. And I literally wouldn't even go somewhere that didn't have a bathroom because I was like, and I didn't even really know the full scope either because I'm just like a kid living my life, right?
mhm.
Not truly understanding. And like I remember they lied to me and they were like, yeah, there's a bathroom on the boat for sure. And they even got like the crew in on it to lie to me too about it. And
Wow.
then like we were like on the boat and then I was like, so like where's the bathroom again? Just because I was like
Yeah.
anxious about it. And we are already gone and they're like, the bathroom is the ocean. If you need to go, you can just get in the water. And I was like, it wasn't that kind of vibe where you would get in the water and like, out deep in the ocean. I was like, okay, for
That
sure. Go screw Kayla.
yeah. Yeah.
So all of that to share essentially is coming
Wow.
back to having to ask for permission and having something as little as going to the bathroom being something that like was shameful, was embarrassing, all of the things that and that was just going to the bathroom, let alone asking for something like food or asking for literally anything that I needed to feel safe and secure was just like not an option and something that I knew was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so that snowballed into so many bigger issues that I
I
still
yeah.
deal with to this day of like feeling this need to ask for permission for again things that are like such basic needs. And it can be something at like that moment, like did that substitute teacher know that she was going to be changing my entire life? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No idea.
True.
Um, but I think that those are things I feel like to invite like this story is a place to like invite in grace for yourself to just check in. Like maybe you have something like that in your story that might have seemed so small, but really did play like a major role in the way that you are able to make decisions for yourself or feel like it's okay to make decisions for yourself. And, or maybe you have someone in your life who struggles with making decisions. And I think it's just like something to think about and to be mindful of. And really just coming back to being curious. I think that childhood plays such like that's where we learn so much. We look up to the people around us and whether you have, like a traumatic experience like that, right, that shapes you, or you're looking up to the adults around you and they don't know how to make decisions, right? And your role models are the ones that are struggling with that. And that's who you're learning from. So I think it's just like a huge place that we shouldn't necessarily shy away from as examples as to like, where did I learn the reasons why I can or cannot make a decision or the way that I go about making a decision heavily comes from the childhood experience. So, and just like again, inviting in space and being mindful. And I love looking back and being able to be like, how can I better show up for myself now and like make myself feel safe, even though I'm like a full grown adult. I still need to be
Yeah.
cared for. I might need to have to go to the bathroom, and that's totally fine. So yeah. Joan, do you have any thoughts about that for yourself or
It's funny,
experiences that,
actually, I'm
yeah.
actually taking notes now,
Oh,
almost
oh,
like how I'd write notes for a client, I'm taking notes on you. But don't worry, it's all confidential, it's just between you and I.
of course.
Um,
It's not
yeah,
live on the
there's
internet or
nobody else.
anything.
No, definitely not being live streamed to, the world, for anybody who's willing to look for it. Um, but so many things,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. It's funny because you actually didn't take this the way I thought you were gonna take it,
Hmm.
which is obviously the way that I would take it, which is
Sure.
why I thought that that's how you would take it. Because right. Anyways, that's a
Sure.
whole nother
Yeah.
topic for a whole
Right.
nother time. Um, Crazy the following the rules of we're always told, well, you have to ask, you have to wait, you have to it's almost
Mhm.
like we built this into children already at a young age of, like,
Mhm.
you must ask permission
Yep.
every time you wanna do anything in your life,
Mhm.
because they
Mhm.
don't understand that, "Oh, this is just because I'm at school," or, "Oh, this is just because of the context."
Right.
It's not, "Hey, I do this now, and then later when I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions and not have to ask for permission." Because I think a
Mhm.
lot of times we do tell, like, teenager well, not even teenagers, we definitely say you have to ask for permission, like, most of the time, I would say. But then when you get to 18 and you're, like, working your job or whatever, and then people are like, "Okay, like, go ahead and make your own decisions," but then they never, like, let you off the hook. Like, nobody comes over and tells you, "By the way, you don't
Mhm.
have to ask for permission for everything
Right, right.
anymore. Like, you're
Yeah,
released. I release you
right.
from that. You can take that away." Wake them up from their hypnosis.
Mhm.
Anyway, so that was really interesting. And then this other part, which is something that I'm working on myself to avoid doing this, but it's this idea of making fun of people for just the fun of it, that, like, it's no
Mhm.
big deal, but it's things that are so embarrassing then we don't realize, but then if it was us, like, if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd be like, "Wow, guys, can you, like, stop? Like, that's actually messed up."
Right, it's not actually funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, and it kinda goes back to, I think I told you this, like, I'm working on avoiding being as sarcastic as I have
Mhm.
been, because when you're sarcastic, you're usually putting someone else at the butt of that joke or whatever. Like,
Mhm.
if I ask, let's say I ask my wife, like, "Hey, do you know where this thing is?" "I don't know. Why don't you use your eyes?" Like, okay,
Mhm.
great, thanks. That was so unhelpful. You know, you could have
Right.
just told instead of saying that, you could have just told me, "Oh, it might be over here in this area," or, "Oh, have you checked this area?" or whatever the case, or, "Where have you looked?"
Mhm.
Like, there's so
Mhm.
many other productive things that could have been said in that moment, and that's not even, like, as crazy as, like, "Hey, I had this issue this one time, like, can we not make this a big deal?" Because obviously, and I think this is the crazy part, is that obviously it was such a big deal to you that, like, you wouldn't go anywhere that didn't have a restroom.
Right.
So, like, that should have been, like, red flag for everyone around you going,
Mhm.
"Okay, this is, like, kinda serious, like, we really need to, like,
Mhm.
dial in on this," and, like,
Mhm.
"Hey, what's going on? Like, you good?" Like, "Oh, well, I'm having," but instead we go, it's just funny because I'm not at the end of the joke. It's Kayla. She's just like, she'll get over it. Don't
Mhm.
worry." And then later when you grow up and you're like, "Hey, I'm thinking of, like, going to therapy because there's, like, some crazy stuff happened in my childhood." People were like, "Wow, okay, what?
Right.
Like, you're so broken." And you're like, like, I didn't have a way to process all this shit that I was going through as
You're
a
like,
kid. Like,
"I'm just a person, like, trying to
yeah.
figure out this crazy world."
Yeah,
No,
they caused the trauma,
totally.
but then they make fun of you for trying to get help because of all of the trauma. Anyways,
Totally. I
so
mean,
that
feedback
those
is
are just, like,
hard.
those are
And
some
I
crazy
I do
things,
wanna
yeah.
say too, like, I think that sometimes people don't know how to oftentimes people don't know how to handle situations, and so they
Yeah,
act inappropriately, right?
yeah,
Or they say things to, like, lighten the mood or whatever, which
yeah.
again, it just depends on the situation, and I know the people that I'm referencing and whatnot, there was no ill will,
No,
like,
yeah,
truly, like, they
yeah,
weren't they didn't know, like, they weren't trying to, like, tear me up and ruin my life or whatever, like, that was not the case at all. So far and, like, I
it
know if
wasn't
I
their
talked to them about
intention.
it now, they would be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," right?
Yeah,
Um, but, like, that, like yeah, so and then I think about and I shared it, previously too, how I, like, got a UTI at work. Like, again, I was, like, 23
yeah,
at the time, not going to the bathroom because, again, I was, like, trained to, like it's very, like this is where I feel like the suck it up, stick with it, don't be a burden, ignore
mm,
your, like and it's like, "Oh, I was a burnout queen? Crazy." Or I was
yeah,
I was given shit so much as a kid about needing to go to the bathroom or just making sure that that was something that happened that I, like, got made fun of, and then I'm, like, ignoring myself, and people are like, "Why can't you just go to the bathroom?" It's like,
yeah,
well, it's a little bit bigger than that. But yeah, so just that was a fun one to reflect on, and, I feel like definitely shaped me and being afraid of being punished. Just shame is so heavy, I feel like,
Yeah, it
when it
is.
comes to, at least for myself and the making decisions. Um, I just feel so heavily that I need to be affirmed to be able to move forward because that's how you were the kid who got the award in class or you were the most obedient. Like we really are so like rewarded in the classroom setting for like I feel like ignoring our needs and following suit
Following the
and
rules, yeah.
doing what is right, which I did so well that it led to these perfect
Ooh, yeah.
these perfect little traits within me that really like ultimately like blew up later.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
and I
those
think
are
that's,
fun.
like I think that's the thing, like, I feel like, yeah, when obviously, when we talk about these people and in the past and, anything in the past, right, it's like, yeah, you can I mean, nobody intended
Oh sure.
going back to our last week's conversation,
Right,
their intentions were not to scar you for life.
right.
um and hopefully, like, moving forward, and I think this is kind of the direction that we're going, is like, hey, stop doing that, it makes me feel really uncomfortable and actually makes me feel more terrible than I already felt. Or, hey, this is actually a
Mhm.
really big deal for me, can we stop talking about it, or can you stop making fun of me about it? Oh, my bad, I didn't know. But
Yeah,
then I think, while it is that person's it is on the person who feels shamed to let others know, "Hey, that makes me feel shame.
yeah.
Can we not?"
Mhm,
Um, it also hopefully the people around you, like, for us as people who are doing the unintentional shaming,
mhm,
like, when we look at situations like that, maybe if you do it, then follow up. Like, this is what I've kind of done, is, like, if I do something sarcastic and I'm like, I'm just joking, it's just a joke. I just want to let you know, like, I don't seriously mean this or intend this." Um, and then, or asking the person, like, ahead of time, like, "Hey, how do you feel about this situation? Because I know we're kind of like ragging on you about it, but, like, let us know if it ever gets, like, too much. Like, please, like, let us
mhm.
know."
Yeah,
But then I'm always like, okay, but even then, like, there are so many other things you could make fun of. Why does this have to be the thing?
yeah,
Like, so it's
yeah,
I vote for a less sarcastic world. A world where we can be more productive with our communication and actually be supportive of each other and help each other out. Also, Toga Eater earlier said guilty. I don't know of what. But your sins are absolved in the Church of Reality Switch Coaching, or yeah, no,
Or
reality, radiance and reality
radiance
coaching.
and reality,
Um,
all the
all
coaching.
the coachings, the Lunar Radiance Wellness Center. You
That's
are
so
now
funny,
absolved of your
actually.
sins. Um, and it's funny because then the other way I was thinking, actually, of taking it, or I
Yeah,
thought this
I'm
is the way I
curious to
thought,
hear.
was more of, because I've talked about this a lot,
Mhm,
of how when we're growing up and in school, you get graded,
mhm, yeah,
and if you don't get good grades,
mhm,
then you're a terrible student.
mhm.
You're a failure to society. You'll never amount to anything because you didn't get good grades. Um,
Yeah.
and in that way, like, the fear of making the wrong choice. And then
Mm,
also, well, and okay, so staying on that real quick. So that part of it, but then also now this extra added thing of, um, if you don't get good grades, then as a parent, I love you less.
mm,
Even though I don't mean that.
yeah,
But if you show up at home and I get your report card and it says, there's, like, well, for some of us, like, right, a B on there, or anything less than a B, like,
mhm,
now, and it's funny because, like, now you're a disgrace. And
mm,
I know there's always this joke, like, of, like, oh, Asian parents are always like, oh, you didn't get good grades, like, a B is like second best, like, it's not number one, so, like, you're trash. It really does actually feel that way.
mhm,
And so, I mean, thankfully, I think my parents were a little bit more lenient. So, um, and I just learned to coast through school. I was like, ah, whatever, I don't care. Um, but I think there was a time when I talked to someone and they were just like, yeah, like, They just appreciated the fact that I showed up, and it didn't seem to matter how they showed up, that I was always gonna be there no matter what, and then so I feel like in that way, then that person is less likely, well, 1, less likely to make the wrong choice because 'cause they're not stressed about making wrong choices, but 2, also, like, they know if they make the wrong choice, like, everything's gonna be okay, the world is not gonna fall apart. They're not a a, a menace to society and should be, um, excluded from the world. Like, because I
Or
feel like
are
it feels
less
that way
than.
sometimes, but
No, it's like
yeah,
an immediate value to your self-worth, and then we're like, "Why do we have this problem with confidence and lack of self-worth?" And it's like, well, maybe we've been ranking people and
literally.
demonizing failure in a place that's for education and, like, learning. Failure is a
Yeah,
part of learning, and we're
yep,
demonizing it and making people feel like if you fail, there's something wrong with you, not with how you were taught,
yeah,
you know?
yep,
Like, I feel like
yeah,
there's so much more, and I just love how it is just all of the blame falls onto the student.
yeah.
You didn't try hard enough. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Or and then the flip side too is like, "Oh, you did so great. You did so amazing." Like all this praise for, and I nanny part-time, and one of my kids is 12, 11. She's like in 7th grade now. And she came home and she was like, "I only got 98%." And I was like, "Are you freaking serious? Like
That's
that's
it? How dare
incredible,
you?
dude."
No, oh, okay, yeah, right, right, yeah, that's what I meant.
Like,
Yeah,
what? And she was, like, so hard on herself,
yeah,
you know? And, like, it's just those things where it's like, there's no way to, like, celebrate the good that is, and it's just so easy to fall into all that 2%.
yeah,
Are you kidding? Out of 98% of, like, good, so to say, is just absolutely crazy, and, again, I also just feel like it's so unfair to, like, that is the only rank of, like, worth within the school system, not
well, I
things
mean,
like
you
you're
get
saying showing
citizenship.
up. Like, I mean, attendance does play in, sure,
Yeah.
but, like, not really. And then like, get perfect attendance for a thing that's calling you in all the time with no breaks, and you gotta be on school mode all the time, like, I don't know how I feel about that either. But, like, yeah, I don't know, like,
Yeah,
our education system, frankly, is broken. We know
yeah.
that.
Well, I think it's, yeah, and I think
So
it's hard too because, again, like, going back to then, but it also ends up following you home too, where,
yes.
when you show up and, "Oh my gosh, you did really well on that test. Oh my gosh, I praise you. I love you. Wow, so good. That's
Mhm. Yeah,
amazing." And when you show up and you failed the test, it's, "Wow, well, you need to study more. Well, how come you didn't get the A? What happened? Like, what's wrong with you?" And
yep.
so, like, again, it's not intentionally making the child feel like you're the worst person in this world and you're dumb,
Mhm. Mhm.
but intention intention, what really happens, right? We talked about this
Yep.
last week,
Yeah.
and it's like that
Versus impact.
child feels like now your
Yeah.
love is dependent on how well they
Mhm.
perform at
It's
school.
conditional, yep.
Ugh, and
Mm,
it's just like this vicious cycle of
yep.
like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Um, so that's where I thought you were gonna take it. But I'm glad you didn't, because then I can take it now. I can take it there now.
Yeah, which is
And
beautiful.
that's why this works, because we're two sides of the
Yeah.
coins. I love it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a great. I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I don't know if y'all agree and you're here with us live, put a one in the chat. Like, I think our education system definitely needs a overhaul.
Yeah.
And I love what you said about like yeah, it's always focused on, well, you as the student are the problem.
Mhm.
The system is not broken. It's
God
you. Your
forbid.
mind is broken.
Yeah.
Or let me give you some medicine. Let me give you
Right.
some pills to help you be a better student. It's
Mhm.
like, well, why don't
Yeah.
you make more engaging content and then I will learn better. How about that? Could we do that
Mhm.
instead? What?
Mhm.
But it's
Right.
crazy because even on that end, one of my great mentors, he's a high school coach. Yes, Togator, all the ones, honestly. Um, and I feel like because he's told me, like, man, talk about making content more engaging. He did it. Like, he goes above and beyond. It's amazing. But then the school system is like, hey, actually, so what we need to do is you can't be like all that creative. We need to really rein it in, and we need to make sure that everyone is getting consistently the same education. Okay, well, the education is crap. So, like, what do you mean? Can we
Right.
increase the standard then? Um,
Mhm.
it's and I feel like I have so many friends who are teachers, and like I feel like
Yeah.
one of their struggles is they want to do more and they want to make it more engaging, but then there's like these golden shackles of like, well, but that costs more.
Mhm.
We're here just to deliver standard education, not
Mhm.
above and beyond. Okay, well then how do we
Mhm.
expect kids in the future, or people, like, this is literally the future. How do we expect them to do better if we're actually holding them back and not giving them the tools to do better and be better
Mhm.
as like we
Mhm.
are growing as a civilization? Anyways, so that is like my little tangent there.
No, I feel
Um,
you.
I'm very passionate
Snaps.
about education. I think we're both very passionate.
Yes.
Toga Eater's definitely very passionate about education.
Mhm.
It needs to be better. And because then going back to the actual topic, like, this is where you get set up for failure now,
Yep.
when it comes to making decisions that you constantly need to feel validated for, because you're so afraid that you're going to make a mistake. And I will, if you have any final thoughts, feel free to share now. Otherwise, I will let you pick our next topic. We should
Always
get like a wheel or something. I don't
whole
know.
night. We really should. That would be fun.
Yeah, or even if we have like a
Um,
physical one, like we each have one and we just like spin it, and then we can be like,
that
see,
would be
look.
fun. We're like number this.
Yeah,
Um,
true, true, true.
yeah, I feel like especially and reflecting on all of us too, we don't give youth the opportunity to essentially make choices either. We say this is the way it is. Don't fight back. Don't have anything else to say. Shut up and get in line. And again, then we're like, well, why can't you make a decision for yourself? And it's like, because you're not really giving them any decisions. You're not giving them the opportunity to experiment and be creative and flow or
Yeah.
just like simply screw up, you know? Like, I think so many times, like, I was like frustrated as a youth that like my mom just like wouldn't let me screw up. She just like had to, and then it created this tension, and it's like, if you actually just let me screw up and like deal with the consequences, maybe I would like listen a little more. Or maybe I
Hmm.
would be able to have newfound knowledge from that failure that I experienced to be able to move through life better, you know?
That's
And
actually
again,
very interesting. I did not think
within
of it that way.
like, don't take this and run crazy with what I'm saying. Of course, like we want to create safety and we want to like create care as much as we can, but sometimes like kids need to fall down. Sometimes they need to screw up. Like adults too. That's why we have adults running around like making so and so like reckless decisions is because they were never given that opportunity or the shackles were so tight or whatever it may be. Like we're here to be messy and we're here to, try and fail and all the things. Like, why are we holding so
Hmm.
much shame and so much and then being like, why didn't you make the best decision possible?
Yeah,
It doesn't go together. And it's
that's
just frankly setting us up, every young person to young adult to like future adult, like is there really ever like a right decision? And we are just told from the get-go that there is, and that you can always make the wrong decision. And if you're not super successful, then you made the wrong decision. So get it together.
yeah.
So,
That's, oh my
and
gosh.
that's the foundation, I feel like, of all of these other topics that we're going to talk about, with kind of having that. I mean, at least if you grew up in California, for me,
True.
with
Yeah.
that American, that was my experience and what I can speak to. So
I think what's crazy. Sorry, because now you opened it up.
yeah, go
This,
for it.
it's funny because I feel like, yeah, like, messing up and everything, and I feel like in the beginning it's really that's the time to mess up,
Yeah.
is when you're a kid, because you have the shelter of family, of the system is supposed to help shelter you. So hey, if you make a wrong decision, right now is the time to do it and learn from it, because the stakes are really low.
Yep. Yeah.
But then we make it feel like these are life altering decisions, and so oh my god, like you're going to make the wrong one, and now I can't trust you to make the right one because you're just a kid. How can you do that? And that one, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
That was really good. You need to give them the chance. And then, have you watched Tangled?
I have, but it's been a while.
It's
Yeah.
funny, it kind of made me think of like Mother Gothel when she's like,
Mm.
okay, go
Mother
on your
knows
adventure,
best. Yeah.
whatever. And then she lets her make all those things, and then at the end, or like, well, towards it, she's like, oh, maybe she's right, oh, maybe I should, whatever. And she's like, see, everything happened how I said it would. But then, obviously she set her up for failure, and like always did all these things and messed with the system and stuff. So there's that too. So but it's funny, it made me think of that, like, yeah, the more you actually let your child make mistakes, like, you give them advice, but then if they take it, they
Mhm.
take it, if they don't, they don't. And if they make more decisions and they make more mistakes, then it would make them actually more open to what advice you have for them in the future. That part also, I was like, that makes sense. That
Mhm.
actually, I've never thought of it that way. So thank
Yeah,
you.
and, like, if you think about responsible too, like, how much life did she get to live by getting to go and experience that on her own, and connections and all the things, and it wasn't perfect, but, like, did she regret it? I don't think so.
Yeah, and she ended up
So,
getting
I
married.
feel like
So
that speaks to it too. Just because you, like, might know what's ahead, I feel like everyone's journey is different, so why take that away from them?
yeah,
I think it's okay to share when it's wanted or warranted,
yeah.
but there's so much beauty in messing up and taking the risk, and I also I don't know, just hearing you say, like, when you're young, like, I feel like why should we stop making decisions?
And true. Yes, yes,
I
yes,
don't
yes,
know,
yeah.
I think that that's also just, like, something that society has, like, told us that, like, "Oh, like, God, I'm almost, like, in my whatever age, and I need to have this and that figured out." Does anyone?
I do, yes, I do.
Truthfully?
For the record, I have it all figured out. Yeah, thank you.
I love that for you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go be messy over here. No.
yes.
Like, I just and I feel like, literally, I had my sister who she's 5 years younger than me, and it's so fun to, like, look back because I feel like I'm constantly, like, looking back at my younger self, and she was like, like, "I'm almost in my mid-20s, like, I gotta" and I was like, "Girl, chill out." I was like, "Get rid of that. We're not doing that," But, like, I did remember being almost in my mid-20s and being like, "Oh my god," even now being like, "Oh my god," but at this point, I've just really, like, welcomed it and been like, "Can we just let that go so that way I can make the best decisions for myself instead of doing
Mhm.
it from a place of fear and a place of, oh, I should be making this decision because that's how it is,' rather than, okay, what are my needs and wants out of life? What do I aspire?" And, like, coming from that place, and I feel like the more that we can lean into that, I think the better decisions and the more that we're gonna be able to fall in love with being able to make decisions for ourselves.
Beautiful.
So,
Alright,
okay,
John, I have nothing further
great.
for the evening.
Can I
So
ask you a question
yes,
next
you can. Yeah,
or
you
hit
can.
your a talking point to you? Gonna
Yes.
hit the
You put
ball
the
your
ball in my
way.
court. I accept
Okay,
your
so I
ball.
want you to share a little bit about the difference between seeking support versus seeking permission, and what does that mean? What's the difference
Okay.
there?
So, um, in my time at Disney, it's funny, because this question actually made me reflect on it a little bit. In my time at Disney as a manager, even as a lead too, um, I would ask people like, "Hey, can I get your support on this?" And I want to say in the beginning, it actually, in the beginning, I think it was more of like, "Hey, can I get support on this?" In the way of, "Can I get your thoughts on this?" so I can tweak it and like and see what I'm not seeing.
Mhm.
Um, but I would notice at times I would ask someone, "Hey, can I get your support on this?" Which is really actually me just asking them for their like permission or their validation on it. And I think
Mhm.
even some parts of it in the other way where I am asking for their feedback on something, it is in a sense asking for validation, but I think the ultimate goal, the intention with it is actually to ask for their thoughts on something,
Mhm.
and whether or not that's going to change what I feel about whatever it is that I've created, if it's a program, if it's some sort of proposal or whatever. I think that's where the difference is.
Mhm.
So if I ask for your support, like let's say for the stream, and I'm like, "Hey Kayla, can I get your support on this?" It's actually me making the decision of like, "Hey, I want this done this way. What can you do to support me in this?"
Mhm.
Not, "Hey Kayla, can I get your support on this?" And then let you just completely revamp a whole thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
or which I think I've definitely done at times. And I think so I would say that, and really kind of I feel like where that comes from for most people is just they're afraid that things are not going to turn out right.
Mhm.
And if I decide that, I'm going to ask for your support on this. Let's say like a back at Disney, and I would want to propose something. And if it goes terribly wrong, then I can be like, "Oh, well, Kayla supported this. Well, Kayla's the one who told me that I should do it this way. Or well, Kayla's the
Mhm.
one who said," and then all of a sudden now I'm deflecting all of the flack and everything, all of the negativity, and I'm going, "Well, it's really Kayla. I mean, I was kind of in charge of this, but then Kayla, who I asked for her
Mhm.
help on this, she's the one who told me to do it this way, which is why now everybody hates it." Um Oh man. Or if like I wouldn't do this, but like so I'm very big on like, you got to take ownership for the
Sure.
things, the decisions you make. And if I'm in charge of a project, I'm in charge of it. So even if I bring someone in and I ask them and I'm like, "Hey Kayla, can you give me your thoughts on this?" And then I decide to change it
Mhm.
based on that, it's still my decision to
Mhm.
change it.
Yeah.
So it's still on me. And I
Mhm.
think that's where people get it wrong or they get it twisted where they're like, "Well, no, when I ask for their support and they sign off on it, they sign off on it in blood, saying that they're tied to the outcome of whatever happens." It's like, no,
Mhm.
the person just gave you advice. You still have to decide
Mhm.
whether or not you want to take it. But I think
Mhm.
that's what people really want is they want not necessarily just support in the way of like,
Mhm.
help me figure out to make this the best. It's
Mhm.
okay, if we all do this together, then we all fail together.
Mhm.
Like, that's
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Um, and so I think a lot of people, it's really just that fear of like, well, if it goes wrong, then it's all on me.
Mhm.
Well, even if you do get support from other people, it's still all on you to make the right decisions. But you can ask other people for help and see what their thoughts are before you make your decision. But
Mhm.
ultimately, you still have to make the decision. Or if you don't make the decision, then whatever project you're working on the relationship that you're in, it will just fail, and that's it. So I guess you don't have to make a decision, but even not making a decision is making a
It's
decision.
making it just
So
yeah, absolutely.
um
True,
no
true.
decision is still decision.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, what are your thoughts on that, and kind of touched a little bit on a little bit of the
Yeah.
other piece,
I
but
definitely resonate with, like, the whole, like for me to move forward with the decision that I'm thinking about making, I, like, need it to be signed off and, like, affirmed by whoever it is that for whatever the situation is. I have done that many a times. I actually like realized I really had like a codependent relationship with my sister when it came to making decisions because I
huh.
literally she was like my go-to person like and it wouldn't even I feel like it's especially crappy when you like have somebody there but they're not like your decision making person and you're like hang on let me call so and so because they're the person that I'm like really looking for the validation from, right? But since my sister moved this past summer and we aren't like close, like like in the physical sense, of course I can call her anything, but you know, she's busy and like there's a time difference, all the things, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
yield to the easy access that I used to have. And I think also like the minute that like I start leaning onto someone or like I know that I have access there
Mhm.
that I like getting validation from, or maybe I feel like there's also like, you know, endorphins that come from getting validated and getting affirmed, right? Like I think it goes back to our childhood self of like getting the award from that one person
Mhm.
who like, you know, gives you that like that's amazing, that feels so good. That yeah, so when my sister moved away, I didn't have that easy access anymore. And then it really turned into me like making those decisions myself. And it was so funny because like the other day we were FaceTiming and I like told her something and a decision I made and she's like, wow, and you didn't even call me. You know,
Yes.
it
I
was
think I
just like
remember you
it
telling
was
me,
just
yeah.
hilarious, you know, that like we were like, oh my God, the relationship is changing. This is crazy. And then we're also like, this is actually so great for us too. To like have that confidence to truly make the decision for myself because it's what I like, not necessarily what I like, what I love, whatever. As opposed to like what is like cool or trendy to my sister, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been like a really fun like transition of um yeah, seeing that like change of like permission and support. And it almost I feel like because I'm not asking for permission, I don't necessarily need this the support, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so when I think about seeking permission versus seeking support, I feel like if you can do it without them and like move forward, then you don't necessarily need the support. You're really looking for the permission, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
I Yes, I
not
actually
that
like.
they can't be there to support you too, but
No,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you have the means to do it for yourself and do it, then you need to do it. And you're really looking for the permission to move forward. Where I feel like seeking support could be like, you know, I've done XYZ and I've made these decisions and like, you know, can I get feedback on this or that or I think also like being able to like find your authority and say like I really appreciate that and say, well, I'm going to do it this way, right? Like being able to like make decisions rather than it being like they said yes, that's the go. When it comes to like
Mhm.
support versus permission. So,
Yeah. I like the way you said that. Like that it is just very, if you can do it on your own, then you can just do it.
mhm.
And then I think you if you want validation, then just be honest with yourself that
Yeah,
that's what you're looking for.
right.
Because I will personally admit that I love like a good pat on the back, like, hey, look, I did this thing, whatever. And I'm like, hey, do you feel like this was actually a good thing? Like, yeah, that was amazing. Like, yeah, you did a really good job on it. Thank you. Cool. I just,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
because I think a lot of times it's funny. I think we get so we get so avoidant of taking ownership of the great things that we do, and we're worried that we're going to get super egotistical, that we downplay like the compliments, right? Like, oh, and someone says, hey, yeah, no, you did a really good job, and we're like, no, I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't really like do whatever. But like secretly, like that's really what we want.
Mhm.
And I think if we're just honest with ourselves of like,
Yeah.
hey, look, I do like validation, and when I do a good job, I do a good job, and let's leave it at that.
Mhm. And I think validation can absolutely be a type of support,
Yeah.
right? Like what I really need right now is just
Emotional
someone to tell
support.
me that I'm doing great.
Yeah. Or if I'm
That
not,
I'm
then be honest with me.
right. And I think that that's also like the difference between like support and permission is like support means like a bunch of different things, like in regards to what you're getting, and permission is like the green light to go or not, essentially.
Yes, I like that.
So,
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yeah.
And
Like,
that
I'm
can
gonna go
be,
walk this path anyways.
yeah,
If you want to just, like, help me along the way, cool, great, but, like, I'm still going this way versus,
right,
"Should I walk the path? I don't know. Can you tell me? Can you just tell me
right,
if I should do it,
right.
please?"
And I think it's like also important to see like, okay, I'm looking to get support in this way. If you have any feedback on like, you know, if there's like a better way to get to this path,
Yeah,
that would be great, you know, or like,
yeah,
and maybe it might not be feedback, or can you just cheer me on? Like identifying what kind of support you're looking for, or then like if it is permission that you're seeking, then I think it's just important to like check in with yourself and be like, am I trying to get them to say that this is okay? What am I doing right now?
yeah.
What am I doing in this situation with this other person, and how can I better communicate to better serve me and this relationship? So, yeah,
Yep, I love it.
beautiful. I love that.
Alright, let me see. What do I want to ask you? We're kind of on we're
No.
kind of on this track,
Yeah.
so I'm going to bring this one up.
Yeah.
Um, this idea of so you do actually know what you want.
Mm,
You're just afraid of the consequence. And we have kind of touched on this in a few things, especially the childhood, the education part of it.
mhm.
Um, so I'll give you this one. I do have a question though that I would love for you to answer from
Yeah.
this, which is more of like what aside from like the past traumas and things, are there other things that you feel like people are afraid of, or what do you feel like people are afraid is going to happen if they either do the thing that they want to do, like
Mhm.
the gut feeling thing that they're like, yeah, this is the right one. So what are they afraid if they do that? And two, what are they afraid of if it goes wrong and
Mm,
they trust their instincts and things go wrong?
mhm.
So, 2
Yeah.
additional questions. You can first give your thoughts, and then I can give you those questions again later, because that was kind of out of the nowhere, so
Yeah. I I just love to like live in this passive world of saying that I don't care and that like I'm just along for the ride. I'm like so good at that. And I do think that at times I really do feel that way, but I also think that that's because I've just learned how to suppress so well not having an opinion on something.
Oh, no.
Right? It's like, "Oh, Michaela, dang girl." Um, and so, yeah, I think being afraid of the consequences is so real, and I don't know if you guys have seen, like, an image of, like, you get to, like, a cliff, right, or, like, a gorge or whatever, and, like, on the other side is your dreams, and, like, right on in this little gorge is, like, all your fears, and sometimes that gorge really does have, like, monsters in it, but sometimes it's really shallow, and there's really not it's not that bad. But because you're so afraid to walk up to the edge and or you just start to you're like, "Oh, well, someone told me this or someone told me that or I don't wanna end up like this in this situation or I don't wanna whatever," you know? You just, like, tell yourself every reason why you don't want that, even though, 1, it's not that bad and the consequences aren't that severe, but it's not the story that you're telling yourself, so you have to, like, make it up. Right? I don't know if that feels yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I've made it up. Um, and I've just like it again, it comes back to the shame an embarrassment of being the person that tried, which makes me feel so crazy to say out loud. I think it's actually really helpful to say what it is that you're afraid of out loud, because
Hmm.
then you bring it out into the world and you get it out of your brain, and half the times it's really not that bad. Or you're like, well, if that's what I'm afraid of, then I can just do this to support it in this way to, like, you know, not make it nearly as bad or whatever it may be, right? I just find it really helpful to say those fears out loud, because then I'm like, that's sometimes I get to be like, that's a stupid thing to be afraid of. That's a bunny rabbit. You just got to throw some carrots at it and we're good, you know?
Hmm.
Like there can be easier fixes the more that we bring things out of our brain instead of letting the emotions and the anxieties and all the things, I feel like, run rampant and crazy with them. So I used to think that you do know what you want. And then I'd be like, but do you? Do you though? And that was myself that like pushed down and avoided and loved to make everyone else a priority. I do think that when you do begin to love and care about yourself, you do have heart's desires. And there are many, many things that you do want out of the world. And the more that you're able to think about them, dream about them, whatever it may be, like actually begin to take a little bit of ownership over the things that you want, the easier it is to identify what it is that you want to begin with. If that makes sense. So it all starts with asking the question, what is it that you want? What is your heart's desire? What is it? Because it's really hard to ask or identify it if you haven't asked yourself that question to begin with. And then being able to understand what you're afraid of when it comes to making that in the real world. So, yeah. Do you have any thoughts so far?
Um, the idea of heart's desires.
Mhm.
Can you just share like some examples of what you would consider like a heart's desire?
Yeah, I think a heart's desire can literally be big or small. I think a heart's desire could be, not to be like shallow or whatever, but like driving a BMW. Or your heart's desire could be having a family, or your heart's desire could be going to a yoga class on Tuesday nights. Um, your yoga class, or sorry, your yoga class, your your heart's desire could be that I like whatever it is that like when you think about it, I feel like you light up. I feel like there's like an emotional reaction to it of contentment, maybe joy and care that you feel. How about you? Do you have a take on heart's desire, what that's defined for you?
I would say, I mean, I equate it to kind of like how Simon Sinek talks about like start with why, like what is your why?
Mhm.
Um, the thing that ultimately drives your life, or the
Mhm.
things that drive your life, what are the things you desire and want?
Mhm.
Um, So, yeah, whether it's, well, I want to provide a safe space for my family. I want to monetarily provide for them. I want to yes, I want a really fancy motorcycle. I also want a really fancy motorcycle. Not now. I don't need it now though. I think that's always a good thing too. When do we want our heart's desires? When is the appropriate time?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um I mean, I don't know. There's always an appropriate time for a really fancy motorcycle. Anyways, um, so yeah, like things like that, right? And I think often our desires, I mean, kind of like how you started with, like, I just got really good at just suppressing all the things that I wanted in life. Um, whether I just felt like they weren't good enough, or nobody is validating those things, and I'm getting the opposite
Mhm.
reaction of like, oh, I want a really fancy motorcycle. Well, that's extremely terrible for you to want that. Oh, okay, well, since it's been invalidated, I guess I'll just do something else. I'll look for something else.
Mhm.
Oh, I want to become an artist. Ooh, I don't know. Do you really want to? I mean, you're not gonna make any money. It's really hard. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, then I'll just do something else. And then people end up in careers that they absolutely hate for the rest of their lives,
Mhm.
because nobody validated their original decision of, hey, I want to
Mhm.
do this, or the right the right people invalidated it, so it made it invalidated. So maybe your friends were like, "Hey, yeah, you should do that, and here's how some ways you can make money or whatever." Oh, okay. But then your parents are like, "No, don't do it. You'll never make any money." Okay, well, I hold my parents' validation higher than my friends, so yeah, forget it. I'll never do that ever. I'll never even pick up a paintbrush or something.
Mhm.
I'll never get a subscription to Adobe, whatever the case
Yeah.
is. So yeah, I like that. Yes, the heart's desires things. That was really cool. And then the idea of owning it, just like own it. If you want it, then you want it. Then work towards it and get it and make the decisions.
Yes.
And don't let other people. It's funny because now I'm like, "Well, don't let other people tell you you can't." But I think let other people help you get there in a more resourceful way. Where like because I talk about like my relationship. I'm like, okay, yeah, like you still want to listen to what people have to say, and still take that into consideration, right? Um,
Mhm.
and I think there's a way because there's a lot of compromise in it. But I think ultimately the compromise isn't, well, this will never happen. It's like, oh, I want to get a really fancy motorcycle. If I told my wife that right now, she'd probably be like, we don't really have money for that. Like, you sure you want to do that? Like, let's hold off. But it's never like a no, never.
Mhm.
So like, hey, the decision is still going to be happening. It's just
Mhm.
not now, which then is still, I'm not looking to say for validation on the ultimate goal of it.
Yeah.
It's just the timing of it. Okay, cool. So
Mhm.
I think there's a fine line between needing validation, especially in the context of a relationship,
Mhm.
versus just like life things like, well, I
Yeah.
want to go get a coffee tomorrow morning. Well, okay, does the context of it make sense? Yes. Okay, cool. Then let me go. Otherwise, we would just run
Mhm.
around and make impulsive decisions all the time, like using buy now on Amazon and all of the Cyber Monday deals and Black Friday deals, and spending money we don't have, maxing out credit cards that we need to pay off, things like that. So I think own them in the context, make sure that it's still a good decision for you to make in this moment
Mhm. Mhm.
while still pursuing your heart's desires and dreams, as
Mhm.
long as they're resourceful and safe for you, the people around you, and like the overall like the world balance and things. Um, as long as it's like ethical, follow
Right.
your
We
heart's
wanna, like,
desires.
key those points in just so you
Yes, yeah. So
No, I support that. I
yeah, like
I
wanna make
want
sure we're clear on that part.
definitely important. Not that you need our validation, but, just a suggestion. Um, what I really loved about what you said, Juhong, about your, like, conversation with your wife, which I think also speaks to the whole, like, seeking support versus permission. What do you want? Are you afraid of the consequences, right? Like, I feel like these all play into each other, right? And what I heard from your conversation with your wife, I don't know if it's hypothetical or real or whatever, but
Slightly
you're like,
hypothetical.
my heart's desire is that I want a brand new motorcycle,
Yeah.
right? That's what I heard. That's what you want. You put it out there. And what I heard from this is that you weren't necessarily asking your wife for permission, so to say, but I heard that that's where the support was coming through, right? Of like, that sounds so great. Love that you want that. Okay, what does it look like to get that? Right? And I feel
Mhm.
like that's kind of where it brought you to like identifying like what is your path getting to your heart's desire and being like, maybe not right now is the best decision, or maybe in X amount of time or whatever it may be. Like, I just thought that
Yeah.
that was like a really beautiful way of like not necessarily needing permission and allowing you to hold that power, but being able to support you in making the best decision. If that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think with it's funny because, like, as I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, okay, in a relationship, you kind of need permission, but not necessarily in the way that I think you need permission to, like, I don't know, take a few days off from work. Like, it's different.
Mhm, mhm,
Like, it's not as much of a hard line, but I think the
mhm.
intention of it may be different.
Yeah.
May be different.
Mhm,
Um, in the sense of I'm more of taking into consideration what my partner is saying
mhm,
versus if my partner says no, then it's a no. It's, well, let's talk about it and let's figure out a plan for it. If this is truly
mhm,
something that is like so burning in my chest that I must have it or
mhm.
something.
Right.
Um, I think that is probably more of, yeah, not necessarily validation in that moment, but more of a consideration, but a very strong consideration that is like at the if this is permission, it's like right here. It's like right here. It's really, really close, you
But
know? And then same
I
thing
do
vice
think
versa.
I
Yeah.
think that's how, like, I don't know. I feel like it is important though to like identify that like it is true that we like don't need permission, so to say, to make a decision. Like we all have free will,
True,
you
yes.
know? And I think that if you do move through life in like such like, for example, like me with going to the bathroom, right? And like needing that like permission, like it really was like permission to go to the bathroom, which seems crazy, you know? And I know that that's
Yeah,
not necessarily the same caliber as like a need as a motorcycle, right? But like your heart's desires are your heart's desires. And if someone who's super important in your life is, you feel like invalidating them and like making you feel like they are less than or whatever it may be, that is going to ultimately have an impact on you and then ultimately an impact on your relationship, whether you want to acknowledge that or not.
yeah,
And I think that that's why it's like so important to like identify like the support and being able to like I don't know, to find like just true understanding and like thinking about relationships too. Like it's so important for you to be able to ask each other like what do you want? Like,
yeah,
what are your heart's desires? Like, what are, you know, like, let's hear it. And I think that oftentimes people don't actually share because they're afraid of the consequences of rejection, of all of the things, right? Um, but it just makes me curious if we like started to share what like those true heart's desires are, what relationships and communication would like look like, and how we could like have better relationships if we were able to support rather than feel like we have to give or get permission. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm,
just a
interesting.
thought.
Yeah. These are all just thoughts.
Just thoughts,
Just
just
thoughts. Just thoughts.
fun things to
Yeah.
share.
Just fun things. Yeah.
um on anything else that you have thoughts on regarding this topic?
Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts.
Yeah.
On this topic, on this one specifically, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, actually, quick question.
Yeah.
What do you think that people feel the consequence is for being wrong?
That you're trash and that you suck and that who do you think you are? Why
Hmm.
would you do that? That's embarrassing. Um Shame, heavy shame, just like a nice fat shoe stomping down. I feel like for being wrong,
Hmm. How would
which,
you
yeah,
how do you or how do you coach people to kind of to reframe that or to resolve that
yeah,
feeling like, oh, this is what's going to happen if I'm wrong?
yeah. One of my favorite affirmations to use is I can disappoint someone and still be safe.
Hmm.
I can let someone down and it's still going to be okay.
Hmm.
And knowing that like it isn't the end, because I think oftentimes it feels like it's earth shattering, the
Yeah.
end, there's no way forward, this is the, you know, no,
Hmm.
it's not the end. You can dust yourself off. Like that's part of failure. You're going to get bumps and bruises. And I think that being able to like acknowledge and say that like there's another like there is a way forward, whether we like the forward or not, or it feels good or not, which oftentimes with failure it does not feel good. But the more that
True.
we can fall in love with that, the more comfortable that it's going to become with being able to move through and not have to dwell and hang out in that crappy space for longer than we have to.
Hmm.
And I think it really just comes down to like experimenting and like trying it out, you know, in safe spaces where you can be uncomfortable and learn that, you know what, I survived. I'm okay. I lived. That actually wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So I think being able to like understand the duality of like this doesn't feel good, but I'm okay can exist at the same time.
Hmm.
And being able to like live that experience, not just to say it. So, how about
True.
you? How would you reframe it?
Um. So there's a great book called Energy Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and from that book, I get like that. Essentially, the consequence people like our brains, our nervous system feels like it's going to happen is like we're
Mm-hmm.
going to die.
Right.
Like literally, I'm going to die. Like
Yep.
this decision is like a lion right in front of me, and if I make the wrong decisions, it will eat me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will die. So um usually what I like to do is we have this thing, it's called time techniques, and where essentially you would close your eyes and you would imagine a time in the future, a little bit after you've made the decision, and where it ends up being like the best decision you could have ever made. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. And then seeing if you had to if that is the case, then what was the decision that you made in that moment? And usually this is where I find people go wrong is they go and I go, "Okay, so what was that decision?" And they go, "Uh," and that split second where they had the decision in their mind of like, "This was the decision I would have made." And then they go, "Oh, but no, it can be that way." And then they start thinking about it and they're like, "No, that's not it. No, it might have been this. Oh, but it might have been this."
Mm,
And then they're just like doing that like battle in their
yes.
mind while as like the practitioner, I'm just like watching them
Mhm.
and this is how they look. And I'm like, "So which one was it?" "I don't know, like, it might have been both of them. I'm not sure." It's like, "Okay, hold on." Um, one thing I like to do is, like, when I immediately start to see them think about the thing, I go, "What was that? What was that? What were you thinking right now? What was that? Oh, well, I mean, I don't know, just tell me, just whatever it is, just even if it sounds silly, just tell me what it was." Because we all know what we want. We all know what the answer
Yeah.
is. It's that first initial thing that has come to mind, but
Mhm.
we think it away and we go,
Yep.
"No, that couldn't have been it." But that was that gut, that initial thing. That was what your unconscious mind was trying to tell you. Hey, this was the decision. This is the best decision we can make in this moment. And I think as a reframe, one that works, but then also kind of like how you were saying that what is the worst that could happen if I make this decision? If this goes terribly wrong, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? Okay, now what are the chances of that actually happening? well, okay, I mean, I guess, like, the whole building won't catch on fire and, like, everything will be okay. That's a pretty low, like, I think yeah, right. So, if that's the case, then, like, okay, now you can just make the decision because once you realize, like, okay, how silly it might seem that
Mhm.
the worst case scenario really probably isn't likely going to happen, that I'm not going to die, like, the lion will not eat me, then people kind of start to realize, okay, this is not a life or death thing. But I believe that's where people go to immediately because that's how our brains are wired. That's how our nervous system is wired. We're in
Right.
fight or flight when we have to make a
Mhm.
decision.
Yep.
And so that would be a technique I would use and recommend
Yeah,
on that. Which is yeah,
absolutely.
exactly what you said too. So
I
yeah.
love that. Thanks for sharing that technique. That's so powerful. I did something similar in a retreat that I used to host with another life coach, Tia Tress, and it
Nice.
was called Who the Hell Am I Self Love Retreat. And so we take them through an exercise like identifying their heart's desires, and then we have them go into an exercise where essentially they like experience what it was like to make that decision and what it was like to not experience that decision,
Hmm.
and to step into both realities and then identify which one it is that they want to move forward with.
I love that. That is
And
so
that
cool.
is just like another really great way to, I feel like, allow, because we are emotional beings and like emotions do drive our decisions at the end of the day. And so to bring those emotions with us and to allow us to feel them
Hmm.
in both situations, I think is just so, but in a safe place, right?
Yes.
Is just such like a great way to solidify and affirm for yourself and validate for yourself that this is the decision that I can make. Um, and in that situation, we're not like, bring so and so with you, or what did they say? How did it feel for them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not included in these exercises. And so it's so funny how our knee jerk reaction is to like just run for that validation and for those those ways to affirm whether or not we should move forward. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you, kind of going from this, of like the energetic leak that we experience
Okay.
with constantly seeking validation and pushing, and how that like really ultimately like pushes people away when we're continually requiring their validation to make decisions or even
100%.
permission, as we've talked about today.
How about this? I put in the chat, hashtag energy vampires.
Yeah.
Man, basically that's what you just talked about. So what pushes people away when we are constantly seeking validation from others? That lack of confidence, it
Mhm.
is just one, it's such a big turnoff, like constantly, right? And when I
Yeah.
say constantly, I'm not saying like, oh, you should never ask someone, hey, what do you think about this? Like, no, 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 no. I'm not talking about like the one-off, like, maybe you're going to go buy a piece of clothing and you like take a picture of it, you send it to your best friend or your significant other. Hey, I'm thinking about getting this. What do you think? Um, not that whatever, that's fine. I mean, unless you're sending it for every single article of clothing you're purchasing, okay, then maybe a little bit too much, right? Um, but this I did this great YouTube video on this actually, about like how you're pushing people away. And it's this idea that it's just like if every second of every day, like you cannot make a single decision without someone telling you, yes, you can do that. Like, hey, I'm thinking of going to this concert tonight. Oh, but I'm not sure. Oh my gosh. Like, okay, look, do you want to go or do you not want to go? What is it? Oh, I
Mhm.
don't know what I want to eat today. Like, oh, I'm kind of thinking this, but I'm kind of thinking that, and like maybe this, but maybe that. And it's like, oh gosh, like, and if it's like every meal you're doing that, like that's when you get the people like in the movies, like when the person's doing that and the other person's just sitting there, and then they're just like, just like pick something. Like what? Ugh. Like that's it. We're getting pizza. That's it. I don't even care what you have to say anymore. We're just getting pizza. That's it. I actually do have pizza here. Anyways, but like it's that thing. It's so exhausting and it's so draining to
Mhm.
be around
Yep.
somebody who cannot make a decision and that constantly needs you to tell them. Also, on the flip side of that is because then if it goes wrong, then you blame that you person usually blames the other person. Well, you made this decision. Look, yeah, because you didn't make one and you didn't want to make one. So I made one for us because you couldn't make a decision. Or, well, I want to go out somewhere to eat. Okay, cool. Like, let's go to Taco Bell. Okay, sure, fine. Go to Taco Bell. Oh, this actually wasn't really that good of an idea. Maybe you shouldn't have decided. Whoa, 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 whoa. I shouldn't have decided. We decided this together. Calm down. Like, let's pause there for a second. So I think there are those two things that really just like you don't trust yourself enough to make the decision and constantly ask for other people to make the decision for you. Then on the other flip side of that, when the decision goes wrong, then you turn around and blame the other person for making that terrible decision. Yes, Taco Bell is a great idea. Honestly, if it, well, Del Taco, we're going on a tangent here. Can we mark this tangent for the stream or for the video and the podcast? Tangent here. So I think Taco Bell is greater quality food than Del Taco. While I do believe Del Taco has a better deals. Um, so I think that's where you just you have to just pick your poison at that point. Like, do I want something that is more expensive, but it is higher quality, or something that is, I mean, it's okay, it's not bad, but better deals. And like I would say significantly better deals. Anyways, I mean, I'm talking about like if you're ordering off their like value meal and stuff.
Sure.
Um, but anyway, so I think that is where not yours, like generally, right? People like that constant validation seeking is essentially as an energy vampire. You
Yeah.
just turn into one and you don't even realize it because nobody bit you.
You are the vampire. You. Well, I'm sure somebody, but again, this comes back from childhood. Like we learned this from somewhere,
True.
where we're like, saying, I don't know, and then they give the suggestion. You're like, well, not that one. It's another
True.
way to like,
Yeah.
and it is exhausting, and you're expecting someone else to anticipate your needs, which is so unfair. So unfair. Speak
Yeah.
your heart's desire. What is it
Yeah.
that you really want? Share that, and then see how it lands. And again, you don't need permission. If you really want to go get Taco Bell and they really want Del Taco, then like go get your Taco Bell.
Yeah.
You have that free will. Like do your thing. Um, we just I feel like love to like grab onto someone for that security and found like that false sense of security and foundation, and I feel like it allows for so many things to just pass us by because we just
Yeah.
go with it. And like if you want that Crunchwrap Supreme, get that Crunchwrap Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too, like, it definitely gets confusing for people because if you're always seeking validation and you just do whatever the person validates, then essentially you just never have any opinion whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you talk about like, oh, let me anticipate your thoughts, your needs, but if every time you just go with what I want, then my anticipation becomes anticipation of myself. And I just go, okay, well then, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I ordered us some Taco Bell because I know you really like that. What? Why would you do that? I don't like Taco Bell. What do you mean? But every time I say let's get it, you just say yeah, that sounds great, and then you just go with it every time. So why would I think any way else? Like, well, don't you notice that when I eat my Crunchwrap Supreme that I'm like so miserable? Don't you notice that? Like, oh, I don't know. Because I'm usually busy eating myself. I don't notice. Well, no, I didn't realize. I'm sorry. Like, what? Wait, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on? I thought like so like it can get so confusing when you're always just. It's funny because now this makes me think of like people who are just like people pleasing,
Yep.
which yeah, like right. This just falls right into that too. It's just that okay, well, it's that okay if I'll just always do what the other person wants, but secretly deep down inside, I just like hate this. I absolutely
Yep.
hate it. And then later we have a conversation in our relationship, right? Where like then we have a fight about something, and it's like, well, you always go to Taco Bell and you never ask me what I want. Like, yeah, because every time I've ever asked you what you wanted, you just say Taco Bell is
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
So what are we even talking about now?
Mhm.
And then talks about, and then this also relates to the whole being good enough thing. Like, well, I'm not good enough to have an opinion,
Yep.
so I just won't have one.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And then where did you learn that? Oh, school, my childhood,
My
something.
childhood, my
Someone at
mm,
some point in my life like traumatized me and made me feel like my value, like, oh hey, like maybe one time, hey, I really actually like Del Taco if we're deciding on food. Ugh, Del Taco? Wow, what are you, dumb?
you took the
Stop.
words out of my mouth.
Wait,
Yes.
no, Del Taco is amazing. We just talked about that. But yeah, I don't know if your comment was about Del Taco or if it was about that,
No.
but
It
yeah,
it
the
was just the
decision.
reference of, like,
Yeah,
how literally it can take, like, one person saying that this is a horrible decision can just completely alter the trajectory of how you move through your entire life, being like, "Well, that's a
yeah,
horrible decision," and then never having Del Taco, for example, or whatever,
yeah,
because that's, like that became reality for you,
yep,
right?
yep,
And here's the thing, you guys. You can make that switch at any time.
yeah.
Cue Ju Hong.
You can change your
Setting you
reality
up for
with
that
a
one.
switch. Thank you.
You're
This podcast is brought to you by
yeah.
a word from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Um, but it's funny because like we're talking about like Taco Bell and Del Taco right now. But imagine you
Mhm.
set up this beautiful romantic getaway for you and your significant other, and you really spend a lot of time on it, you put a lot of thought into it, whatever, and then you go, you experience it, and then at the end of it your significant other is just like, that was absolutely terrible, don't ever effing like do that again. Okay, that's it. I'm never making another decision on that ever again in my life. I'm never
Or
doing this
another
again.
decision period, you
Yeah.
know?
Like,
Yes.
that's so crazy, right? And then I think, like, yeah, because you can't always put it on the other person. Like, no one else is responsible for your emotions, for your decision making,
Mhm.
other than you. So
Yep.
then it's like, okay, if you had a really intense emotional reaction to what I just said, then you need to get a coach. You need to process through some things, because you need to figure out then, like that is the red light going off. Wee, 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 wee. Hey, something we need to work on. I need to figure out, why did I respond so intensely to that? um because you know ideally what would happen after that is you would just go, oh well, what didn't you like about it? Like, oh my bad, like, what would you prefer to do or whatever. But usually people just shut down in that moment, and then they just shut up and they don't even talk, and they're just like,
Mhm.
wow, okay, never again, I will never. And they get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they're like, okay, whatever. And then later it comes up and it's like, how come you don't ever do anything romantic like you did that one time?
I can't win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, yeah, so
I I feel like that comes into, like, another one of our talking points tonight for the hidden payoff of being indecisive and, like, what is that? And because, like, that's what we're talking about here, right? Like, not make just doing nothing. And whether that however you got to the place of just, like, not making a decision, being passive, whatever, like, you just don't get to be held responsible because 'cause you're just not doing anything. And it's the beauty of freeze, essentially. The
no,
bliss of freeze that feels so good for, like, a little bit, and then it just starts piling up. But you're frozen and you can't do anything about it, and now it's even worse, and now you're
it's
gonna be
like,
even more frozen, right? And then Ju-Hong playing into his great freeze.
yes, yes.
Um, and, oh, man, I really relate to, like, the whole freezing situation. Like, I feel like in my relationship and to like, even, like, I've had times where, like, I'm like, "I don't know what I want to eat. I don't know." And then, like, 2 more hours go by, right? And I'm, like, still haven't eaten because I don't know, and it's
No,
something
yeah,
so small, right? That like really isn't that big of a deal. And then you think about big things, right? Like starting a business, right? And having big decisions to make and,
Yeah.
feeling like it's your entire life. And then you freeze because you don't know what to do and all the things. And then your business isn't moving because you're frozen. And then you feel more, well, what do I do? No, 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 all these things. And
Yeah.
ultimately, what this does when we're in that freeze state is we, in decisions, um, as much as it sounds so great to make decisions from a place of being grounded and like firm and knowing what it is that you desire and what you're going to do, we love as humans to make decisions from being forced to and from emotional states, which is just oh so fun. So nothing like, for example, going back to that eating situation 2 hours ago. I was more stable, my blood sugar was better, all the things, whatever. And now I'm hangry. Now I feel ready to maybe commit some crimes or say some things that maybe I wouldn't have 2 hours ago because now I'm hangry and I'm moving from this emotional place of, and then maybe I have a goal of like cooking from home or whatever it may be, whatever, but now I'm like, I don't care. Everything's out the door. It's time for me to go make this quick decision that I don't actually truly support. It doesn't align with my heart's desires, right? Same thing with the business decision, right? I'm feeling stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I've been frozen for so long. So now I'm going to jump into this emotional decision because I don't know what else to do. And this person says that they can help me.
Yeah.
All of these feel ick. They feel gross. They feel it does not help you sitting in this place of being indecisive of that freeze. So, again, I want to encourage you to ask yourself what it is that you want. Start practicing that, whether it's in the small scale of asking yourself what you want to eat, or it's the bigger scale things with like, what am I doing with my life? And whatever, like just practicing being curious, just making a decision. I had another coach, her name is Denise, she's incredible, who shared this story with me of how she always encouraged her kids that it was, and this is like a hypothetical, that she always said, like, I would way rather support you in getting a speeding ticket versus a parking ticket. In the sense that I would way rather you go and make decisions and go, 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 as opposed to just sitting in the car and getting a parking ticket. Um, Now this is, I just want to clarify as a burnout queen and, recovering from that. This isn't say to go, 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 and all the things and be crazy.
Make all the decisions right
This
now.
is
Hurry
just
up.
in the
Keep
sense of
going.
like, just make a decision. Make a decision. You're gonna be okay. Promise you, you're gonna be okay. And you're gonna be so grateful to yourself of being able to build that confidence and really just make a better life for yourself instead of having to make all these decisions from a burnt out, exhausted emotional place, but just being decisive and making a decision.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my
I
thoughts on
agree.
that. What do you think? Any thoughts for you?
I don't want to have any thoughts because if I don't have any thoughts, then I can't be dumb. So,
Aw,
um,
we're gonna cut that. I love I love that shared that with me. That's great.
I think with my
Um,
ADD, I definitely get the speeding tickets.
yeah.
For
You're
the
like, "I'm
thought.
familiar."
Um, uh, it's funny. I was like, "Oh, speeding tickets over parking, but parking ticket is more safe." Um.
No, but you're
Anyways,
not going anywhere. You're literally in the exact same place, and you're just gonna keep getting and tickets
yeah.
and
I mean,
tickets.
we'd have to like
Where
define what you're getting the parking ticket for, because like I've gotten parking tickets going to the beach. Those are sucky. And then I'm
well,
like, dang, I should have never went to the beach. Because then if I decide not to go to the beach, then I wouldn't have gotten this parking ticket. Um anyways,
and
totally
that's the
taking that
story about how Juhong never went to the beach ever again, and then continued to never make another decision again because
ever
the
again in
last
my
time he
life.
did, he got a ticket. Nah,
Yes.
we're cutting that.
Yes.
We are cutting that
Uh,
story. How would you, Juhong, how would you reframe that for yourself?
um so yeah, this whole thing, like, oh, if I don't try, then I won't fail, and that whole thing. There's a great movie called Dodgeball. at the very end when he's talking to oh my gosh, Lance Armstrong, whatever, and he's like, yeah, I had all these things going on, right? The cancer and everything, and I still won all these medals and stuff. But I'm sure you're going through something really, really terrible right now. This is the reason why you can't do the thing. He's like, dang, like, yeah, it's just guilt. A lot of guilt right now.
Mhm.
And I think when you look at just in general, like living life, kind of like what you've kind of mentioned already, right? That you, I was gonna say you don't get participation trophies for life, but you do. You get a trophy for participating. Like, but if you never participate in it, you never actively are engaged in life, then you will just like rot away and live in nothingness and not. I mean, like not even talking about achievement, but just like all of the beautiful things that are out there, like the beach, the sun, if you're able to have those things. And I don't know. I truthfully do not believe there's anyone out there who truly wants to never experience anything in life. I that is one thing I'm pretty firm on. I think it's just that people get so caught up in not wanting to make the wrong decision that they're afraid to go outside and
Mhm.
not even just go outside and live life, but even just like within the confines of their home, like, oh, if I get out of bed, like then this could happen, and this could happen, and that could happen, and like, oh, I just won't do it because it's just easier that way. Um, I just recently started, well, not recently, but um, I've learned like trading in like stocks and like other things and stuff. And in there too, we talk a lot about it's like if you don't take on any risk, you will never get any reward.
Mhm.
And that is so true in life. Like you have to be able to risk or be willing to risk at least a little bit to get something. And the more you risk, obviously there's a higher chance of reward, but also the higher chance of failure as well. And so I think with this, like the way I would reframe it, well, obviously depending on the person, but a way you could reframe it is start again, start small. Like make just focus on making like small decisions at first. Am I going to brush my teeth now or in 30 minutes or tonight, whatever? Um, am I going to put on these socks versus these socks? Like if you are like super decision constipated, I don't know, like where you have just this like fear of just making any decision, like start there. Just make a
Mhm.
decision, go with it, and realize that afterwards, even if you pick these socks versus those socks, life is fine. Everything is good. And
Yeah.
you can always reflect back, right? Like, oh, I made this decision. All right, let me reflect back on it. See, well, what ended up happening? Kind of like you had mentioned earlier, right? Like, oh, it actually wasn't even that bad. Like, wow, I actually went to Taco Bell this time instead of Del Taco, and everything's okay. Wow, okay, the world did not end. It's
Mhm.
fine. We're good. We're safe.
Mhm.
Because I think it really, like, truthfully, I do believe it always comes back to this idea that we feel like every decision is life or death.
Right.
And then the decisions that actually are life or death, we don't treat them like life or death. We treat them like, oh, whatever, that's like nothing.
Right.
But then we treat everything else like that is. Um, and so this is weird. I don't know what it is about it. Like we always simplify the complex things, oversimplify the complex things, and then we overcomplicate the actual simple things
Mhm.
that we need. And
Yeah.
I don't know why as humans we do this. When I find out, I will let y'all know. I think it does come from fear too, as well.
Oh,
Fear
yeah.
seems to push a lot of people because
Oh, yeah.
it's
It's
that
the
big
big
scary
scary
thing that is in your
monster
face. Yeah.
that
Not
is
like that
just
peaceful life that's just like, "Hey, look, everything's gonna be okay." Like, "Oh,
right.
I don't wanna talk to the fluffy bunny. Look at that huge, crazy, scary, shadowy monster over there. That's what I'm worried
Mhm.
about. I
Right.
wanna go hang out
When
I don't wanna hang out with the fluffy bunny. I wanna hang out with the intense shadow fear monster." For whatever reason, that seems to be the case.
yeah. It really, like, comes back to, like, how we get so comfortable being uncomfortable, and we just are like, "Well, I know it's gonna be uncomfortable, so I'm just gonna hang out here because that's what I know," as
Yeah.
opposed to being uncomfortable for a little bit to maybe get to a place that really is actually more comfortable. And oh, how we just love to like sabotage ourselves in that way, to just literally be uncomfortable with just looking the other way, avoiding, dismissing all the things, when if you just made the decision to look, might not be so bad. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, like you said earlier, like no decision is also a decision too. And so if you want to release your power, you can, but I think really like what Juhong and I are here to share with you guys is like you do have the power to make a decision. And we want to encourage you and know that you are worthy, so worthy of making a decision. And I truthfully believe and know that whatever decision that you make, you will figure it out. However, it
Yeah.
turns out, you're going to figure it out. There are tools. People mess up all the time. People go through stuff all the time. We are not normally the first person to go through the thing that we are experiencing. And the more that we are able to share and connect and be our true authentic self, we're going to find that help and support that we need. But the more that we hide away and we freeze and we avoid and all those things, just allows these things to turn into those scary monsters that they might not necessarily be. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think two things. One, there's another great book called Quit, which is funny because we're talking about like
Mm,
making decisions, but
yeah.
in that book, I think Annie Duke is the one. She's like a well-known poker player,
Mhm.
and in that book, she talks about like someone who was thinking about leaving their current job and going to work somewhere else, but they were worried, they were afraid. They were like, "Well, what if I make the wrong decision? What if I go there and then I hate it, and then I miss out, and then now I'm in a place where I hate, and I got back at square one." And she's like, "Okay, but what are the chances of you going there and it being amazing?"
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's like 50-50. Okay, 50-50. Fine. 50% chance it's amazing. 50% chance it's either worse or the same. Great. Wonderful. What are the chances that you're going to be miserable at your current job? Oh, 100%.
Right.
Okay, so do we want the 100% this is definitely going to be miserable, or do we want the 50-50 that hey, there's still a 50%
Yep.
chance this job could be your
Right.
dream job? Like, what would you rather take? And I think kind of the same thing with all these other decisions that we're afraid to make, or we were afraid to make, and now going forward we will make the decisions we need to make. But it's like, okay, if I stay in bed, what are the chances I get nothing done? 100%. Okay, if I get out of bed, what are the chances that nothing gets done? 90%. Okay, fine, 90%. But there's still a 10% chance you might actually get something done today. So then, like, why not just get out of bed? Or if I stay in bed, like, okay, what are the chances that I stay depressed if I stay in bed? 100%. Yeah, there's no
Mhm.
way. I may even
Mhm.
get more depressed staying in bed. 100%. Okay, great. What are the chances that if you get out of bed and go outside, what are the chances of you being depressed? 99%. Okay, but there's a 1% chance that you may
Mhm.
feel better.
Yep.
So what do you want to bet on? The 1% chance that you may feel better or the 100% chance you will not feel better? Like,
Mhm.
what do you want?
Yep.
And I think when you kind of put these in perspective of like, well, what are the chances that it can help you reframe the thing that you're afraid of,
Yeah.
the consequence that you're afraid of, that, well, but I don't
Mhm.
know, what if it still is miserable when I get out of bed? What are the chances that it's miserable when you're in bed? Okay, well then there you go. Then
Mhm.
just take the chance because guess what? Either way, you get to still feel miserable at the end of the day if you really want to.
Right. Right. And again, that's the choice that you get
Yes.
to unwillingly willingly make. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
that.
you. So
I think
yeah,
that
that
that's
was
so
really
cool too, coming from like a poker player, right? Like it makes sense. Like
yeah.
there's these, you know, decisions and probabilities and all the things that you can put, but you have to make a decision,
Yes.
and so you can for sure lose or you can have the chance to win.
Yes.
Again, just
Yes.
want to like shout out if you need support for gambling, we'll drop a resource. No, not to
True.
support gambling addictions necessarily, or to support them, we will provide resources. But
Yeah.
yeah, like there is that chance, and I think that with yeah, so take the chance. Take
Yes,
the
yeah,
chance.
that's a great.
Be brave. Be curious. Listen to your heart's desire. All the beautiful things.
Yeah, and I think too, like, or we don't necessarily have this for for the talking points, but like people who are facing like decision burnout too,
Yeah.
feel free to like let other people make decisions on like
Yeah.
small things, so you can make decisions on big things.
Mm-hmm.
But don't over complain if it's the decision you didn't want. This is my one caveat to that. Like, if I'm like tired after work and I tell my wife, "Hey, we can eat whatever you want," and she picks something, I've already forfeited my right to decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to afterwards complain about it for the rest of the night. Go, "I can't believe you picked this, blah 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 blah." Okay, well then I could have made the decision instead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you decide to let other people make the decision, then let them decide. Let it be
Mm-hmm.
done. That's it.
Stand firm in that. I think
Yes.
I think that is like a part of what we've been talking about too, is like really taking like accountability and like give yourself that permission to like stand on the decision that you make, and like there's consequences with everything, but like own them, look at them, see like yep, that's what that was. Don't go and point the finger,
Yeah.
um because isn't that the whole like point, when you point the finger you got three fingers pointing back at you, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't.
yeah,
I point like this.
you
Yes.
cut
This is
off.
called the knife
Just
hand. I
for
learned
those
it
who
in
are
the
listening, it's
military.
literally like a flat
Yeah.
hand he's pointing out
See,
with
then
all five fingers.
it's always on you.
It's
It's never on me. So, just in case people didn't want to point at themselves.
Juhong, hey, remember when you're talking about wanting to like not be sarcastic? Just
Well, I mean, I do. I do actually. Well, I
he's like,
do do
I'm not
this.
being sarcastic, Kayla. He's like, I'm being serious.
Yes, I'm being very serious right now. This is what I do. Well, what's wrong with
Sorry.
you? I don't go, what's wrong with me? I go, what's wrong with you? But then I go, it was my bad.
My bad.
My bad.
Takes full responsibility with
Yeah.
double hands.
What's wrong with you? It was my bad. See? So it's equal.
Oh
I do it to myself when I own it, and when I don't own it and it's on somebody else, then it's on you.
my god. Yep. Fair enough.
this is
That's so funny.
this is life.
This is life.
Yeah. The knife
Oh
hand.
man.
Yeah.
Um
I also
this
did
is
this at Disney too. I do this a lot at Disney.
that's so I've never actually seen someone point with all four, like all five
All
fingers.
5, yeah, because you
Yeah.
also get the thumbs
The
too.
thumb too.
Yeah, you get the thumbs too. Oh, it's actually right over there? Oh,
Yeah.
cool, thank you.
That's so funny. That's so great.
Oh, it's over here? Oh, where are the restrooms? Oh, they're right over here. Right over here this way. Or you just go around this way,
Were you
see? Yeah.
trained to do that, or is that just something you did?
No, that's something I did because the military
Okay.
taught me that.
Ah, I see, I see.
Yeah, the knife hand.
The knife hand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never heard that term either, so
Well, you're welcome.
yeah, thank
I'll make
you.
sure to use it more
I'm being
often.
educated.
You're
I love that I'm
welcome.
getting more than I bargained for here, which was so great.
Anyways. Yeah,
Knife
I sharpen
hand.
them every morning. I sharpen them.
Cut off.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
Anyways,
awesome.
for anybody listening on the podcast when we put this up, yeah, I was just taking my hands. I sharpen my knife hand on my other hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
very resourceful. I love that for
yes. Yeah, I care about the environment,
you.
Whatever I can do to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments what you guys got as your takeaway from today's conversation. What is one way that you are going to step into your power, into your strength, and practice making decisions in whatever way that looks. We would love to hear from you guys. We'd also just love to know like what decisions you've made since taking on this new information. We want to hear from you. So share with us, or something that you're thinking about making a decision on. We're not going to necessarily let us know if you need support. might not necessarily validate or whatever you guys need. We will be there to support in any ways. So
Yes.
yeah, love to hear from you.
Yeah, we're kind of coming to the end of it. It's like
We are.
only like 6 more minutes left. 6.5 minutes, 4.5 minutes,
Yeah.
5.5 minutes. Sorry, man, I'm jumping all over the place. Um, Also, if you're listening on the podcast, feel free to like comment, or you can also, for anyone, you can also email us to any questions that you might have. Again, topics that you would like us to cover. In 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about our book for this go around. I almost said this month, but we're not doing a book a month. We're doing a book like every, or it is kind of, it is
Yeah,
a
it's like
month.
a
No,
book a month.
yeah,
Just
okay,
depends on
yeah,
when it lands. If
yeah,
it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks,
yeah.
however long.
Depends on who moves our cheese
Yeah,
and where
true.
they move it.
True that.
Which is the title of the book. Who moved my cheese?
I don't have mine
I don't
with
know
me
if
right
you
this
have
second. I
yours
believe it's
readily
downstairs.
available.
But it's a great book. It's super, I think we've shouted out a couple times that it's super skinny. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be touching on that one, which is going to be really fun. I feel like going into the new year. So yeah, like Juhong's showing here, it's little short. I think it's like literally 100 pages and it has like some pictures in it too. So big font. So for those who are nervous about
The big
reading,
cheese. The big cheese.
um, it is a great way to dip your toes into starting to read, which I'm super excited about.
94 pages.
94 pages, not even 100, guys.
And
It's a great
that's
easy
if
read.
you that's if you read the like little like prologue. If you literally just read the book itself, it starts on page 19.
Oh my
Well,
goodness,
20. Well, 21 actually is when the text like actually starts where you can
that's
start reading
so
it
funny.
to 94. So what is that? That's like 73 pages total of like this huge like 20-point font. I don't know what point font it is actually, but
But it's large. No, it's
yes.
definitely large. So if those weren't reasons to support you in making a decision, I don't know what they are.
You should just make the decision to
Just
just
make
get
the
the book.
decision, commit. It's a great book. We would love to hear from you guys. Love to hear your thoughts on the book too. And we're super excited for that conversation. Juhong, do you have a topic picked out for next week yet?
Wow, way to just put me on the spot.
Yeah.
No, I decided not to decide on a on a topic because then it can't be a bad topic. So if I just don't pick one, then there's no chance of it not being bad. Sarcasm. Anyways,
Asterisk
um,
sarcasm. Um, that's
sheesh.
so funny. Well, that is totally fine. You will make a great decision when you do. I think it's actually really funny. It took a long time to make the decision for this topic, and I love that I picked this as the topic, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, this was
Um,
really good, and I definitely am worried that I'm gonna make the wrong decision on our next topic. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke for anybody listening on the podcast. I'm smiling and laughing.
oh
That was a
man.
complete joke. Um,
So great. Well, no pressure if you don't know yet. We will definitely post it and let you guys know. Or we'd love to hear from you if you guys have thoughts on what topic you want to hear from us next. We've talked about energy vampires. We've talked about the perfection trap. Uh, we've talked about so many great things. This is our ninth live, which is so
yeah,
cool.
that is
Um,
crazy. It is crazy to know.
just so cool.
Yeah.
We've talked about the fears of impactive communication. We've talked about having differing beliefs in relationships,
Oof.
resting, speaking clearly. What are your intentions? Emotional intelligence. We talked about a lot of awesome topics. So I'm really excited for. It's so cool. By the end of the year, we will have streamed 12 times, which is like so sick.
Is that it?
Um, is that
Feels
it?
like
You
so
said?
many. Yeah, it feels like so many.
Yeah, just like so exciting. So, and we're so grateful for you guys, part of our community, being um, a part of these conversations and helping guide us and asking questions. It's just so fun to have you guys included in it. So, thank you.
Yes. Let me think here.
If you haven't already, make sure that you guys are following our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitch, our YouTube, our LinkedIn, all the things. We post clips from previous lives and we share what's coming up next, what time we're streaming. So make sure you guys go and follow us. We're so excited that because of you guys, we were able to start streaming on Facebook now, which is awesome. So you guys are supporting us so much
Oh my
by
gosh, yeah, we're
following
also
and
streaming on
subscribing.
Facebook right now.
Yeah, we are,
Oh
which is so
shoot.
dope.
I was just Do you have it open?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, great. Because I was
Yeah,
like, if
yeah.
people are commenting on there, I don't
Yeah, no,
think they'll
I
see it,
got our
but
Facebook friends. I got us. We're good.
yay. Um, yeah, I'll find one. I'll find a really, 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 really amazing topic for
I
next week.
believe you, and I can't wait for this
Oy.
topic. And yeah,
All right.
cool. Well,
And
thank you
that's
guys so
that.
much for tuning in and listening.
Thank
And
you
we'll
all for
see
being here.
you next week.
Yes. Next Sunday. Sunday. I think it'll be yes. Okay. All right.
Bye.
Thank you all. I'll see you later. Bye.